Money.
Some have it.
Some don't.
And yeah, most of us are still chasing it. We treat money like it's this big math problem, right? Something we can solve with a spreadsheet and some formulas. But the real decisions, the ones that actually make or break us, those happen a million miles away from any calculator. They're all wrapped up in ego, pride, fear, and our own unique view of the world.
So, let's dive into that. Today, we're going to unpack the psychology of money and explore this wild idea that how you behave with money is way more important than how smart you are.
And this right here, this is the heart of it all. See, financial success isn't just about what you know. It's about how you act. It's this beautiful and sometimes messy dance between the hard numbers and our very, very human nature.
All right, first up, let's talk about something fundamental. Every single one of us is walking around with our own unique financial DNA, a worldview shaped by experiences that nobody else has.
Just take a look at this. It's a perfect example. If you were born in 1950, you spent your formative years watching the stock market basically go nowhere. So to you, investing probably felt like a total scam. But if you were born in 1970, you saw one of the biggest bull markets in history. For you, investing looked like a golden ticket. Now, who's right? Well, neither of you is wrong. You just lived in completely different worlds.
And that brings us to this really powerful insight. Every single financial decision somebody makes, it makes perfect sense to them in that moment. It's based on their personal story and the information they have, so what might look totally crazy to us is perfectly logical through their eyes.
Okay, so that leads us to maybe the most powerful and yet the most overlooked force in all of finance. I'm talking about time.
We all know Warren Buffett, right? The investing legend. We see that massive net worth, over $84 billion, and we just assume it's because he's a stock-picking genius. But is that the whole story?
Not even close. Look at this. A staggering $81.5 billion of that fortune, that's over 96%, was earned after his mid-60s, after he qualified for Social Security. His skill as being a great investor, for sure, but his real secret weapon? It's that he's been a great investor for an incredibly long time. He started when he was a kid, letting that magic of compounding do its work for decades longer than pretty much anyone else.
And if you need any more proof, check this out. There's this other legendary investor, Jim Simons, whose fund returned an incredible 66% a year. That's 3 times better than Buffett. But here's the catch. Simons didn't really get going until he was 50. Buffett started at 10. That extra 40 years of compounding is why Buffett is worth 4 times more. It just goes to show you, being pretty good for a very, very long time can beat being a genius for a short time.
So we've got our own behavior, we've got time, but there are these other almost invisible forces at play that we often forget about. And I'm talking about luck and its evil twin, risk.
This is one of the most incredible stories. Bill Gates had this insane, 1 in a million stroke of good luck. His high school had a computer in 1968. He's even said that without that school, there'd be no Microsoft. But his best friend, Kent Evans, who was just as brilliant, had a 1 in a million stroke of bad luck. He was killed in a mountaineering accident before he even graduated. It's the same force, just pointing in opposite directions. Luck and risk, they're 2 sides of the exact same coin.
Now, there's actually a name for these kinds of rare, game-changing events. They're called tail events. They're those tiny little moments out on the edge that end up driving almost all of the results. And once you learn to spot this pattern, oh man, you start seeing it absolutely everywhere.
Seriously, think about it. An art dealer can be wrong 99% of the time, but who cares if that other 1% is a Picasso? Amazon's Fire Phone was a total train wreck, but it doesn't matter one bit because of massive home runs like Prime and AWS. A comedian bombs with hundreds of jokes in tiny clubs just to find the handful that make it into their Netflix special. The lesson here is wild. You can be wrong most of the time and still end up on top.
So if success is so heavily influenced by these rare events and things outside our control, what in the world are we supposed to focus on? Well, that brings us to a huge, crucial idea. We need to redefine what it actually means to be wealthy.
Okay, this is so important. We confuse being rich with being wealthy all the time. Being rich is visible. It's a big paycheck, a fancy car, a huge house. It's all about spending money to show people you have it. But being wealthy, that's hidden. It's the money you haven't spent. It's the savings and investments just sitting there, giving you options and freedom. Wealth is the stuff you don't see.
And that right there is the ultimate goal. The greatest thing money can ever buy isn't more stuff, it's control over your time. It's the ability to wake up and say, I can do whatever I want today. That is true wealth.
But to get that kind of wealth, that real freedom, you have to be willing to pay the price. And here's the thing, most of us are completely wrong about what that price actually is.
Think of it like buying a car. You can pay the sticker price for a shiny new one. You can pay a lower price for a used one. Or you could try to steal it. You try to get the reward for free, but you face massive, massive consequences. In investing, way too many people try to steal the returns. They want all the gains of the market without being willing to pay the price.
And that is the real price. It's not a number on a spreadsheet, it's an emotional fee. The price you pay for market returns is dealing with fear when everyone is freaking out, staring down uncertainty, and stomaching the roller coaster of volatility year after year. That's the fee. You have to pay it to get the reward.
But even if you do everything right, there's one last mental trap waiting for you. It's called the hedonic treadmill. It's that dangerous feeling when the goalposts just keep moving. As soon as you hit one financial target, you immediately create a new, bigger one. The chase for more never ends, and true satisfaction always feels just out of reach. Which brings us to the final, and maybe the most important question you can ask yourself in this entire journey. It's a question that has no formula, no spreadsheet, and no single right answer. It's just this: what is enough for you?